Imagine your dinner plate. What do you see? For billions of people across the globe, a significant portion of that plate is filled with rice. It is a comforting and familiar sight. Bustling streets of Bangkok, quiet family dinners in Lima. Rice is more than just food. A cultural cornerstone, a symbol of sustenance, a daily ritual. Savory stews, spicy curries, simple grilled fish. We often don't think twice about the generous scoops we add to our meals. It's just what we do. It fills us up. It provides energy. It complements nearly every flavor. This grain has fed civilizations for thousands of years. Versatility makes it a staple across cuisines. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, festivals, ordinary weeknights. A meal without rice feels incomplete. That deep-rooted connection makes it hard to imagine a downside. We see it as energy, a simple carbohydrate that fuels our busy days. The thought that this harmless white grain could be linked to a serious health issue is far from our minds. The sheer quantity we consume is staggering. Many people eat rice 2 or 3 times a day. Over a lifetime, that adds up. Passed down through generations, recipes and portion sizes learned from parents and grandparents. We rarely question the amount we eat. It's the foundation, the canvas for our culinary creations. That unquestioning acceptance might be obscuring a potential health risk, quietly growing with every serving. We need to start talking about it more openly. Comfort and tradition make critical views difficult, but it's crucial that we do. Modern lifestyles are very different from our ancestors. Many of us are less physically active. Our diets have more processed foods than before. In this context, high consumption of refined grains like white rice may not serve our health as it once did. It's time to look closer at this beloved staple and understand how it affects our bodies long term. The conversation isn't about eliminating rice, it's about understanding it better. Here is a simple but startling fact. Eating too much rice can significantly increase your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This statement might sound alarming, especially given how central rice is to our diets. For years, the focus of diabetes prevention has been on sugary drinks, sweets, processed junk food. We have been told to watch our sugar intake, but the sugar hiding in starchy foods like white rice often flies under the radar. The connection isn't as obvious as a candy bar, but it is just as real. This essay aims to shed light on this hidden danger and explain the science behind it in a clear and simple way. The problem lies in how our bodies process large amounts of refined carbohydrates. When we eat a big portion of white rice, our digestive system quickly breaks it down into sugar or glucose, which then enters our bloodstream. This causes a rapid spike in our blood sugar levels. To manage this sugar surge, our pancreas works overtime to produce a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to help move the glucose from our blood into our cells for energy. Over time, frequent and large blood sugar spikes can wear out this system. Our cells can become less responsive to insulin, a condition known as insulin resistance, which is a major precursor to type 2 diabetes. This essay will serve as your guide to understanding this complex relationship. We will break down exactly why rice, particularly white rice, has this effect on our blood sugar. We will look at the science behind the glycemic index, a tool that helps us understand how different foods affect our blood sugar levels. You will learn that not all rice is created equal and that simple choices can make a big difference. The goal is not to scare you or to tell you to stop eating rice altogether. Instead, the goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can make informed decisions for your health and the health of your family. Our main purpose here is to provide simple, practical solutions. We will explain the why behind the risk, but more importantly, we will focus on the how of prevention. You will learn about the crucial role of portion control and how simple adjustments to your plate can protect you from this growing health epidemic. We will provide a clear playbook with actionable tips that you can start using today. By the end of this discussion, you will understand the link between rice and diabetes risk, and you will have the tools you need to continue enjoying this beloved grain in a healthier, more mindful way, ensuring it remains a source of nourishment and not a hidden threat. To understand diabetes, we first need to look at how our bodies handle energy. Think of your body as a complex and very efficient engine. Just like a car needs fuel to run, your body needs fuel to perform every single action. Breathing, thinking, walking, running. The primary fuel for our cells is a type of sugar called glucose. We get this glucose from the food we eat, especially from foods rich in carbohydrates like bread, pasta, fruits, rice. When you eat these foods, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose. That glucose is released into your bloodstream. This process is managed by a sophisticated internal system. Once glucose is in the bloodstream, your blood sugar level rises. That rise signals your pancreas, a small gland behind your stomach. The pancreas releases a crucial hormone called insulin. Insulin acts like a key. It unlocks the doors to your body's cells, muscle cells, fat cells, liver cells, allowing glucose to leave the bloodstream and enter the cells. Once inside, glucose can be used immediately for energy or stored for later use. This balance between glucose and insulin runs constantly, every day. When working correctly, blood sugar stays in a healthy range. After a meal they rise, insulin is released, then levels fall as glucose is absorbed by cells. This prevents your body's engine from running empty or being flooded. This biological dance keeps energy steady and organs healthy. Imagine a well-organized delivery service. The bloodstream is the highway. Glucose molecules are the packages. Insulin is the delivery driver with the right key. When synchronized, packages are delivered efficiently and highways stay clear. The system handles a normal load. But if the delivery system is constantly overwhelmed with massive volumes day after day, problems begin to arise. That strain is where diabetes risk starts to creep in. Now let's explore what happens when this carefully balanced system starts to fail. This is the essence of type 2 diabetes. The problem usually begins with insulin resistance. Remember how insulin acts as a key to unlock your cells? With insulin resistance, the locks on your cell's doors become rusty and less responsive. The key still fits, but it becomes much harder to turn. Your cells have trouble absorbing glucose from the blood, even when insulin is present. Too much sugar stays in the bloodstream, which can be very damaging over time. Faced with this resistance, your pancreas tries to compensate. It thinks the problem is a shortage of keys, so it starts working overtime, pumping out more and more insulin. For a while, this might keep blood sugar under control, but it puts an immense strain on the pancreas. This can go on for months or years with no obvious symptoms. Insulin resistance keeps worsening, and the pancreas becomes exhausted from overproduction. Eventually, the pancreas can no longer keep up. It starts to wear out and produces less insulin. Not enough insulin to overcome the cell's resistance. Glucose can't get into cells and builds up in the bloodstream to dangerously high levels. This is when someone is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Either the body doesn't produce enough insulin or the cells ignore the insulin, causing chronic high blood sugar. Unlike type 1, an autoimmune attack on insulin-producing cells, type 2 is largely lifestyle-related and develops over years. It's a slow, progressive breakdown of the body's sugar management system. Insulin resistance plus pancreatic failure creates a perfect storm. This chronic high blood sugar causes many complications affecting heart, kidneys, eyes, nerves. Because type 2 diabetes develops so slowly, its early symptoms can be very subtle and easy to dismiss. You might feel unusually thirsty or need to urinate more frequently as your kidneys work harder to flush out the excess sugar. You might also experience unexplained fatigue as your cells are not getting the glucose they need for energy. Other signs can include blurry vision, slow healing sores, frequent infections. Many people have no symptoms at all in the early stages, which is why it is often called a silent disease. Let's consider a typical person at risk. Meet David, a 45-year-old office worker. He has a sedentary job and often feels too tired to exercise after a long day. For lunch and dinner, his meals almost always include a large portion of white rice, just like he grew up eating. Over the past few years, he has gained some weight, especially around his belly. He often feels sluggish in the afternoon and drinks sugary sodas to get through the day. David might dismiss his tiredness as a normal part of aging and his weight gain as inevitable. He is a prime candidate for developing insulin resistance, and he likely would not know it. Key risks for type 2 diabetes include being overweight or obese, especially with excess weight carried around the abdomen. A sedentary lifestyle with little physical activity is another major contributor. Family history also plays a role. If your parents or siblings have diabetes, your risk is higher. Age is another factor, as the risk increases after age 45. However, the most modifiable risks are related to our diet and physical activity. This is where we have the most power to make a change and protect our health for the future. Managing diabetes is a lifelong commitment that can involve daily medication, blood sugar monitoring, and strict dietary changes. It can also lead to serious complications like heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and nerve damage. Prevention, on the other hand, is about making small, sustainable changes now to avoid this future. By understanding the risks and taking proactive steps, you can keep your body's sugar management system running smoothly and significantly lower your chances of ever developing the disease. Let's delve deeper into the food group at the heart of this discussion: carbohydrates. Often called carbs, these are one of the three main macronutrients, alongside protein and fat, that provide our bodies with energy. Carbohydrates are found in a wide variety of foods: fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes. When we eat them, our digestive system gets to work breaking them down into their simplest form, which is sugar, primarily glucose. As we have discussed, this glucose is the essential fuel that powers every cell in our body. It is vital for everything from brain function to physical activity. There are different types of carbohydrates, and they are not all processed by the body in the same way. We can broadly categorize them into simple and complex carbs. Simple carbohydrates are made of just one or two sugar molecules. They are found in foods like table sugar, honey, sugary drinks, fruits, milk. Because of their simple structure, they are digested very quickly, leading to a rapid release of glucose into the bloodstream. Think of them as a quick burst of energy, like lighting a piece of paper that burns brightly but very fast, leaving you needing more fuel soon after you have consumed it. On the other hand, we have complex carbohydrates. They are found in foods like whole grains, beans, lentils, potatoes, corn. Because of their more intricate structure, it takes our bodies much longer to break them down. This results in a slower, more gradual release of glucose into the bloodstream. This is more like a log burning in a fireplace, providing a steady, sustained release of heat and energy over a longer period. This slow and steady release is much gentler on our body's sugar management system, preventing the sudden spikes that can cause problems. Rice, our main topic, is a carbohydrate-rich food. A single grain of rice is essentially a tiny package of starch, which is a complex carbohydrate. However, the way it is processed before it gets to our plate dramatically affects how our body digests it. When a whole grain of rice is refined to produce white rice, its outer layers, the bran and the germ, are stripped away. These layers contain most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What is left is the starchy endosperm. Without the fiber to slow it down, the digestion of this starch happens much more quickly, causing it to behave more like a simple carbohydrate in our body, which sets the stage for a rapid rise in blood sugar. To better understand how different carbohydrate foods affect our blood sugar, scientists developed a useful tool called the glycemic index, or GI. The glycemic index is a rating system that ranks foods on a scale from 0 to 100 based on how quickly and how much they raise blood sugar levels after being eaten. Foods with a high GI are those that are rapidly digested, absorbed, and metabolized, resulting in a significant and fast spike in blood glucose. In contrast, foods with a low GI are digested more slowly, leading to a much more gradual and smaller rise in blood sugar levels, which is far easier for the body to manage. To put this into perspective, pure glucose is given a GI value of 100, serving as the benchmark against which all other foods are measured. High GI foods have a rating of 70 or more: white bread, cornflakes, baked potatoes, certain types of rice. Medium GI foods fall in the range of 56 to 69, sweet corn, some breakfast cereals. Low GI foods have a rating of 55 or less. Most fruits, vegetables, lentils, beans, oats, barley. The glycemic index is a powerful concept because it helps us look beyond just the total amount of carbohydrates in a food. It tells us about the quality of those carbohydrates and how our body will likely react to them. For instance, a slice of watermelon. A donut might have a similar amount of carbohydrates, but their effect on your blood sugar is vastly different. Watermelon has a high GI, causing a quick sugar rush, while a food with more fiber and fat will have a lower GI. This tool helps us make more nuanced choices, shifting our focus from simply counting carbs to choosing carbs that are kinder to our metabolic system. It is important to remember that the GI of a food is not a fixed number. It can be influenced by several factors: ripeness of a fruit, cooking method used, what other foods you eat at the same time. For example, eating a high GI food like a potato, alongside a source of protein like chicken, and a healthy fat like avocado, will result in a lower overall blood sugar response than eating the potato on its own. This is because protein, fat, and fiber all help to slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, moderating their impact on our blood sugar levels. When we talk about rice, it is crucial to understand that we are not talking about a single entity. There are thousands of varieties of rice grown around the world. They do not all have the same effect on our blood sugar. Their glycemic index can vary significantly based on type, structure, and processing. This is good news. We can make smarter choices in the rice aisle. Side by side, white rice versus brown rice. Brown rice is a whole grain. It retains nutrient-rich bran and germ. Bran and germ are full of fiber that slows digestion. Brown rice typically has a medium GI, around 68. White rice has had these outer layers removed. The refining process makes it softer and quick cooking, but it strips away the fiber. Without the fibrous coat, starch is broken down quickly by the body. Most white rice varieties have a high GI, 73 to 85 plus. Choosing brown over white leads to a more moderate blood sugar response and reduces strain on the pancreas. Other rice varieties have unique GI profiles. Long-grain basmati, traditionally grown in India and Pakistan, naturally has a lower GI than many other white rice varieties. Its GI often falls between 50 and 58. Basmati has more amylose, a starch more resistant to digestion. Parboiled or converted rice also has a lower GI. The parboiling process, partially boiling rice in its husk, forces some nutrients into the grain and makes the starch more resilient. Short grain rice, sticky rice. These are high in amylopectin, quickly broken into glucose. Sticky rice causes a faster, higher blood sugar spike than basmati, even at the same portion. Understanding these differences helps you choose rice that matches your health goals, allowing you to enjoy this staple food in a way that is gentler on your body's metabolic system. So, what exactly happens when you consistently eat high GI foods like large servings of white rice? Each time you eat such a meal, you are sending a sugar flood into your bloodstream. Your blood glucose shoots up rapidly. In response, your pancreas releases a large surge of insulin. Think of it as an emergency response. The system can handle this occasionally, but not a constant emergency. It's stressful for your pancreas and cells. Repeated large sugar and insulin spikes, day after day, lead to a cascade of problems. Firstly, cells become desensitized from constant insulin. This is insulin resistance. Secondly, the pancreas gets worn out, making too much insulin. Over years, that demand reduces its ability to produce insulin. That paves the way for prediabetes and eventually type 2 diabetes. Portion size is critically important. The glycemic index shows how quickly carbs raise blood sugar, but it doesn't tell you how much carbohydrate is in a serving. To get the full picture, consider both GI and portion size. A large portion of a high GI food is a double whammy. It spikes blood sugar quickly and delivers a massive total sugar load. A small portion of white rice has a much smaller impact than a huge plateful. Managing diabetes risk isn't just choosing low GI foods. It's also about controlling portions, especially of high GI carbs. Even low GI foods, if overeaten, can cause a big blood sugar rise. The key is balance. Be mindful of how much rice you put on your plate, and you can dramatically reduce your meal's glycemic load. The link between white rice and diabetes is not just a theory. It is supported by a growing body of scientific evidence from around the world. One major piece of research was a meta-analysis by the Harvard School of Public Health. A meta-analysis combines many individual studies into a stronger conclusion. Researchers analyzed data from 4 major studies following hundreds of thousands of people over many years, tracking diets and health outcomes. The findings were clear and consistent. Those who ate the most white rice had a much higher risk of type 2 diabetes compared to those who ate the least. Specifically, one daily serving, about 1 cup, raised risk by 11%. This association appeared in Asian populations and in Western populations, pointing to a more universal physiological effect. At first glance, the link between white rice and diabetes seems to present a paradox, especially in Asia. For centuries, Asian populations have consumed rice as their primary staple food, yet historically, they did not experience the high rates of diabetes we see today. However, the context of rice consumption has changed dramatically over the past few decades. Today's diets often include more processed foods, higher amounts of meat and fat, and fewer vegetables, while the portion sizes of rice have remained large or even increased. At the same time, lifestyles have become much more sedentary. People now work in offices instead of fields, and they use cars, public transport, instead of walking. This combination of a high carbohydrate diet, centered on refined white rice, and a lack of physical activity creates a perfect storm for the development of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Furthermore, recent research has suggested that people of Asian descent may be genetically more susceptible to developing type 2 diabetes, even at lower body mass indexes compared to people of European descent. When this genetic predisposition is combined with a modern lifestyle and a diet high in refined carbohydrates like white rice, the risk of developing diabetes escalates significantly. The rice itself has not changed, but the environment in which it is being consumed has. So, the paradox is not really a paradox at all. It is a story of how a traditional food can become a health risk when removed from its traditional context. The problem is not rice in isolation, but the high consumption of refined white rice in combination with a modern, sedentary lifestyle and a changing overall dietary pattern. Now that we understand the risks associated with large servings of rice, let's move on to the most practical part, the portion playbook. The single most effective strategy is to control the amount you eat. A standard serving of cooked rice is typically 1 cup. For managing diabetes risk, aim for about half a cup per meal. Use a standard measuring cup. Measure your serving for the first few weeks. Another tool, your own hand. A serving should be about the size of your cupped hand. Also change the vessel you eat from. Large plates can make portions look small. Try a smaller plate or a dedicated small rice bowl. When rice fills a small bowl, it feels like a full portion. This psychological trick is the Delboeuf illusion. Finally, the healthy plate model. Imagine your plate divided into sections. Half, non-starchy vegetables. Broccoli, spinach, bell peppers, a large salad. 1/4, lean protein, grilled chicken, fish, tofu, beans. Final quarter, your carbohydrate, with the controlled rice portion. Beyond just reducing the amount of rice, you can make smart swaps to further lower the glycemic impact of your meals. As we've discussed, choosing lower GI rice varieties is an excellent first step. Brown rice, basmati rice, parboiled rice. But you can also think outside the rice box. Quinoa, barley, whole wheat couscous. Another effective strategy is to bulk up your rice with vegetables or legumes. Finely chopped cauliflower, broccoli, shredded carrots. This technique, sometimes called rice extending, adds nutrients and fiber while reducing calorie and carbohydrate density. Mix cooked lentils, chickpeas. This not only lowers the overall GI, but adds a significant boost of plant-based protein and fiber. Navigating meals when eating out or at family gatherings can be challenging, but it is not impossible. When ordering at a restaurant, do not be afraid to make special requests. Ask for your rice to be served on the side. Finally, simple recipe adjustments can make a big difference. Rethink the composition of dishes served over rice. Instead of ladling the main dish over a mountain of rice, try incorporating more vegetables directly into the curry or stir-fry itself. The key takeaway: the power to mitigate this risk lies on your plate and in your hands. Shift your perspective. View rice not as the bulk filler of a meal, but as one component of a balanced, colorful, varied diet. This is not a restrictive diet. It's a sustainable, enjoyable way of eating. By embracing these principles, you can continue to enjoy the foods you love while safeguarding your health for many years to come, turning every meal into an act of self-care.